A year ago, it was late at night, and I pulled over a driver who was driving in the wrong lane of the road. The car stopped and I walked to where the car was parked. I saw that it was a male who was black with dreads. I told him to pull into a driveway that was feet away so that we'd be all the way off the road. He complied and I parked right behind him. I walked up to the car again, and now I got the chance to introduce myself. I said I work for the county sheriff's office. I pulled you over because you were all over the road. The man then starts apologizing and comes up with some BS excuse, saying that he was putting his hair up. I then asked him if he had anything to drink. He said, hell no. I had nothing to drink. I don't smoke or any of that. I knew that was a horseshit lie because I smelled weed in the car. I then asked him for his license and his registration for the vehicle, in which he claimed that it belonged to his mother for verification. I then went back to my car to trace his files, and everything matched. His name read out as Kenneth DeHart. I had also dispatched for backup because I needed assistance to help me with the arrest. I then asked him to step out of his vehicle because his whole car smelled like weed. He then claimed that he didn't smoke weed, but I knew that was a lie, and I knew he was high. I told him to hang out with me as my partner is going to be here soon. He then tried to overrule me and said, I'm refusing the search. I wanted to laugh, but I had to stay with it. I said to him, you cannot refuse a search. Our verbal exchange continued for a couple of more minutes, and finally my partner named Greg arrived at the scene. When he got there, he saw that I kept asking him to get out of the car, and he stepped in and said to Kenneth, get out of the car or else you're going to jail for refusing. That's when I decided to take matters into my own hands. So I tried opening the driver's door, but he shut it. After the guy shut his door, Greg came in and opened the door this time. That is when both of us attempted to force the man out of the car by pulling him out. But he was resisting and kept on telling us that you can't do this. After we tried pulling him out, Greg got out his taser and shouted at him to get out of the car. Greg told him this a few more times, but he just got ignored. Greg finally reached a breaking point and tased the man while he was still inside of his car. Kenneth was not affected by the tase, and he shut his side door. Greg then tased him a second time, and he started screaming in agony. Greg then told me to take off his seatbelt so he could get him out of the car. It was hard as he was fighting me off, and he was also much stronger than me. So Greg tased him a third time. As he was getting tased, I was still trying to wrestle him out of the car, but then I got tased along with him. I walked away from the car for a moment because I was hurt from that tase. As I was away, I saw the man roll up his window. I couldn't see him anymore, but what I did see was a gun in his hand. Next, what he did with that gun was he shot Greg twice, and then shot me in the leg. I then walked away from there, in the back of my car screaming in pain as that guy drove off. I kept firing shots at his car. I then dispatched for help saying that I got shot. While I did that, I saw the man shoot Greg one last time as he drove away. I saw a few cars parked in the road. My thought was that they were going to help me, and that they did. They did because I was yelling for help, and they did it without any questions asked. I kept calling out for Greg's name, but he wouldn't answer. He could not be saved at that point, and there was nothing I could do. A man helped me in his car, and I sat there breathing heavily. Other police officers arrived minutes later and helped me into their car, as they were going to take me to a medical center. I was driven off while a few other officers were taking care of Greg's situation. I arrived at the hospital, where I was treated for my wounds. They were unable to catch Kenny, the guy that shot us, but the mayor had announced a $10,000 reward that could lead to Kenny's capture. A 5-day manhunt went by, and Kenneth was finally located and was arrested at an apartment 20 miles away from where he had committed the crime. He was later charged with first-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, felon in possession of a firearm, aggravated assault on a first responder, evading arrest, resisting arrest, and failing to maintain a lane. The prosecutor is seeking the death penalty for Kenneth and life without the possibility of parole. His trial is set to begin in April of 2026. My friend Greg was the meaning of a true and loyal friend. He took bullets for me and saved my life, and sadly, I never had the chance to thank him for it. I still work as a police officer today, as Greg will want me to keep going. I still have a lot of bad memories from that night, but I'm coping more and more, one day at a time. Last week it was my 18th birthday. It was on a weekend when I didn't have college. I woke up that morning and I made myself some coffee and breakfast. I didn't worry about buying or baking a birthday cake, as I was sure my roommates and friends would throw me a surprise birthday party. I decided to check my phone and see if anyone sent me anything like a birthday wish. And when I checked, I saw that my parents sent me birthday wishes and one other thing. My mom sent me 3 files through the iMessage group chat that me and my parents had. Those files were videotapes of me and my parents. They wanted to remind me of the old memories we made, as I was now officially an adult. Below the files were the words, "Congratulations." I clicked on the first videotape, and it showed my 3rd birthday party. The party was being thrown at my house with childhood friends and my entire family. The video ended with me blowing the birthday candles. Next, I clicked on the second video. This one showed me riding a bicycle at the age of 9 for the first time. It also showed me being so happy riding that bike. I would ride that bike to school and back every day. Then, I clicked on the 3rd and last videotape. The video started showing a man and a woman and their child. They were having a barbecue in their garden and singing a song happily. The person behind the camera then kept pacing behind the fence, and what it looked like in the frame is the camera person was crouching down, most likely trying not to be seen. 5 minutes in the video had now passed, and nothing had changed, until I heard a woman behind the camera talking to whoever was behind the camera with her. The velocity of her voice kept increasing, as it sounded like she was approaching the camera person. The woman asked, "Have you got them, Frank?" "Oh yeah, I have, honey," said Frank. I stopped the video. I had an awful feeling that I knew these voices. Is it true that it was really my parents? I hoped I was wrong, and I resumed the video. Frank then turned the camera to what I would think was his wife, and it was. More importantly, it was my mom, Samantha. My suspicions were true. I couldn't believe that it was my parents. She looked to be about 15 to 20 years younger in the video. She says, "Are you ready?" my mom asked, while she had a very sinister and devilish smile on her face. "Of course I am," said my father. They then both walked around the fence. They both walked around a fence to where the garden was. As they got closer to the back, my mom started to pull something from her pocket. It was shiny, but I couldn't make it out. They then crept to where the man and woman were. The woman then suddenly turned her head around to the back, which faced where my parents were. Before the woman could do anything else, she just collapsed to the ground. She just dropped dead like a doll. The father then quickly turned his head around. His face was still in the normal color, but half of a second later, it turned pale and full of terror that I can't describe. Then he ran away from the home property and out of sight. I was holding my breath. My hands were covering my mouth as I was still watching. My dad then took the baby from the unconscious, or should I say dead mother's hands. The baby started crying as it was calling for its mom. My mom then put a tissue in the baby's mouth and told it to shut up. My parents then left this property and went inside a house to what I think was where they lived before our current house. My mom then approached my dad and said, "Let's prepare the papers." She continued to speak, and then what she said next shook me deeply to my core. What she said was, "I think we should name him Walter. I like the name, and I'm sure he'll be great." That's what my dad said, and then the video abruptly ends. I then downloaded the video to my files. After doing that, I stayed frozen for the next 10 minutes. I tried to comprehend what just happened. I opened my phone and again to the group chat with my parents, and I now saw that the third video was gone. My mom then sent a text saying, "Did you see that third video?" I lied and said, "Nah, I didn't." My mom then responded to me with, "Okay," because I sent that one by accident. Then I just put a thumbs up emoji as my reply, and that was the end of that conversation. It is now April, and I'm about to finish my first year of college in about a few weeks. After I finish, I plan on staying somewhere across the country, far away from home. When I'm at this place, which is to be determined, I'm going to anonymously report my parents to the authorities and hopefully have them locked up in prison for a long time for kidnapping, abduction, false imprisonment, and possibly murder. My whole life turned out to be a lie, and I just don't feel good about it. But I will stay strong because when my parents are out of my life and locked away, I want to tell my story to the world. But for now, I will stay anonymous and will keep you guys updated if anything else changes. I used to have this neighbor named Maya. I was never close to her, and I had rarely talked to her when she was my neighbor. She lived with just her grandmother because her parents died when she was very young. Maya told me this when she moved in on the first day. I felt so sorry for her and her grandmother. Losing both of your parents is not easy, and depending on the person, they might never get over it. They seem like nice people, even though me and my family never really talked to them. One day, I was home after school. I was chilling in my bedroom on my phone when something scared me. It was the sound of a little girl screaming and crying. I walked over my window to see who it was, and it was Maya. While Maya was screaming and crying, she was running to her home. I had no clue what that was about. Something had to have happened that scared her. I then saw her running and screaming into her house, and then when she went inside, I could no longer hear the screams. I was eager to find out why she was screaming. I wanted to knock on her door, but I didn't want to disturb Maya and her grandmother, so I just stayed inside my house for the rest of the night. The next morning at about 6 o'clock, I woke to what sounded like heavy objects being placed into a truck. I went to my window and I was right. Maya and her grandmother were putting big boxes into a truck. I asked myself, what the hell is going on? From what it looked like, they were moving out. I watched for another 10 minutes with the curtains halfway shut, and I saw Maya and her grandmother hop into a truck with Maya going inside the passenger's door, while her grandmother hopped into the driver's seat. They then drove off. Why would they just move out like that? I was concerned about why neither of them told me this. When I went to school, I saw that there was a for sale sign on the old neighbor's house, and my suspicions were true. I was wondering if Maya's screaming the night before was a connection to them moving out. Does it make sense though? Not really. How would they be able to plan and pack everything all in one night? That's a question that only Maya and her grandmother knew the answer to. Every night for the rest of the year, I would still hear screams of Maya from outside my bedroom window, and every time I looked out of that window, she wasn't there. I never told anyone about these screams that I would hear every night until now. The biggest mystery in my book is, why was Maya screaming and running, and actually, what happened? I guess I'll never know.
Nightmare 5.